your life, your life, your life, your life. Hello, good afternoon to everyone. So we are another Wednesday with success stories of expat women. They did it, so can you. My name is Eva Sanders. I'm an inspiring singer and songwriter, and I'm also an empowerment coach, helping women after a huge shift in their lives, which is sometimes or very often move abroad to to go back on track again, to discover who you are and to create thriving professional life abroad. Because when you move abroad, it's like everything is up and down. Everything is shifts and like what existed before is lost forever. You loved it there. Your friends, your social circles, sometimes your language. You have to learn a new language, and everything's new. It can be very overwhelming, and at the same time, for me, it's always like an invitation to align even more with who you are in order to create fulfilling and thriving, abundant professional life. Okay, let us introduce today's guest. Ilona Emanuelsson, I'm so pleased to welcome you here for this interview. Nice to meet you.
So pleased to meet you, Eva. Thank you for inviting me. I'm happy to be here today.
Thank you. So let us start at the beginning. Where are you from originally? What brought you to Switzerland and how long have you been there?
Okay, so I am from Lithuania. I was born in Kaunas, and then my parents moved to the small town by the sea on the Baltic coast in called Palanga. And I moved to London to study since I was 20.
Mhm.
And since 2019, I am in Switzerland. So it's been quite a few years, I guess.
Mm. Where are you in Switzerland?
I am in between Morges and I would say Nyon. In a French-speaking part. I'm in Vaud.
Mhm. Okay, and so what brought you from London, from England to Switzerland?
Well, it's we follow our love life. It happens, and so my husband was already here for 2 years, so we were commuting for a couple of years before I moved to Switzerland. I moved to Nyon, and this is how it all started. Yeah, I really would never imagine in my life that I would live in Switzerland.
Yeah, yes. So it's really interesting how sometimes life brings us surprises and very unexpected, let us say, gifts. Huh?
Yeah.
So tell me, what did you study in England, in London?
So I left to London to study Vidal Sassoon, the hairdressing. But very quickly I realized that it was not really adjusting to what I deeply wanted to do, my heart desires. I enjoyed it so much. So I continued my studies in eye aesthetics, in the beauty therapy. And it was actually the Swiss education called CEDESCO, is an aesthetics education system that is worldwide recognized, and it's the most prestigious. Maybe because it's coming from Switzerland, I don't know. But they were very, very, it was very tough and education. And it led me to that. And after this, I found myself, okay, this is really what I always wanted to do. And I enjoy the environment. And it was my interest all along, the health, the beauty, the the hair, the whole environment, the nature of the human, right?
Mhm.
So it led me to that, and this is what I was studying. And then I studied business at a university during while I was working in the spa industry. And I really enjoyed myself being in London at that time of my life. Yeah.
Okay, tell me a little bit about this transition from your home country to London. How did you live it? How was it for you?
Um, I, I love my country. I think it's the most beautiful country in the world. And when I moved from my small resort town to the capital, the Vilnius, the city, I felt really sad, like sad in my heart to leave it. And I was leaving home. I was leaving my mom, you know.
Yes,
So it was really like a big, like how I'm gonna survive on my own, you know, who's gonna cook for me and that kind of stuff. You know?
yeah,
And a big change being in the city. And I was studying, I was completely in a different, not completely in a different, but I was studying in a college of art.
hmm,
And that was also my passion. And yeah, it was really it was so progressive in a way that I could like finding myself that almost it was suffocating. So I needed more. It was not enough. It was not enough in terms of people that were surrounding me, maybe,
yeah.
and and that mentality, you know, because we're part of the Russia for many years, and then we're coming out, and yeah. So I wanted something more and experience the world. So I decided to, and it was always my passion to have, to do the hair, to do the beauty, to see the people's beauty, and especially women's beauty in them from early age. I could see that. So uh, it was just something that was calling me to go for it. And yes, it was not an easy decision, um, but I was lucky to do that, you know. And so I just moved to London. And when you're in your early 20s, it's so easy to not, I wouldn't say easy, but it is easier because you
Yes,
take risks, you just go for it,
yes.
and that passion just follows. And you think, oh, it's only 10 months, it's only a year, and then you know you're back and back into your environment and it's all good, you know. So you give yourself that little story that is just that. And
So how did you deal with this change, leaving your home country and going to London?
uh, it was actually very nice because it was completely, I felt in a different world.
Yeah.
And maybe I was also uh, surrounded myself with the people that are not Lithuanians, because I think I had enough and I
Yeah.
wanted a complete, I thought, okay, I'm gonna just have complete immersion in the London life, and not be attached
Hmm.
to Lithuanians down there, because there is a big community, of course,
Yes.
and I'm just gonna do different things. And this is what happened. I was completely surrounded by internationals, and my English improved so fast there. And then in the end, you know, 1 year was not enough, and I really enjoyed the life there, being as a student, and meeting people and traveling. It's over a sudden this freedom of choice.
Yes.
Yes.
So you
So
decided. So you decided to stay longer.
I decided to stay longer, and I stayed there for quite a few years. Yes.
Okay.
Hmm.
So what I hear, and this is very important for expat women, when you go abroad, don't only hang with around people who are from your country, keeping like your comfort zone and speaking your language. Get out. get out into international community, to other people, get out in order to create a social circle with people who speak a new language, so you can learn it as well. You can improve. So you see how Ilona improved fast her English just by being around people uh, within international community. So definitely you need to get out of your comfort zone and to create social circle with people who speaks the language of the country. So obviously this it was English for you. So can you speak French now also?
No. Terrible. I'm learning. I'm still learning.
Okay.
I'm taking lessons every week, a couple of times a week, and it's terrible. So I'm completely different here than I was in London. I don't know what it is, but it changes.
So, so is it different in Switzerland? Are you able to to communicate with people in English? Do you have your social circle like of expat people who speak English, or maybe even a circle with Swiss people speaking English? How is it for you in Switzerland?
So in Switzerland, I found, okay, so London was because it's so international too, but more. And everyone has their own English. So luckily for the first year, I was the student at Vidal Sassoon. So there were people from Korea, from US, from all over the world, right? So, and we kind of had to adjust to each other, understand each other's accents to learn. So it was really good practice for me, because when I went to the aesthetic school, it was really tough because the vocabulary and terminology, it
Yes.
changed. It was just out of this world. Yeah, it was. I was like, can I do this really? But when I moved here, the thing is with English, everyone speaks English, right? So even though I immersed myself in the French learning for the first month when I moved here, it was completely new for me. I only knew few words of French, never learned at school, and it was really difficult. But also it was easy to find an English speaking person here, an expat. I really networked like a maniac almost when I moved here, because this is what we did also in London, because there's all these events, and
Yes.
you have different seminars and workshops and this and that and meetups and drinks
Yes.
and going out and getting to know people and network. So, and this is happening also here in Switzerland a lot.
So
So what
how did you network in Switzerland? Where did you go?
I joined the groups, English speaking groups. There is a lot all over Switzerland, and I organized myself also, like some gatherings together, getting people together, and get to know people, what they do,
Yeah.
what's happening in Switzerland, where do they go, what they like, and also the activities, that what you like to do as your hobby, right? So you
That's
go out there and meet people who do the same thing as you want to do. And this is
so
how
you
you.
create the natural connection with someone who loves something you love. So it's like you have already common ground together. You said
Yes.
you said that you organize gatherings. Are they like official, unofficial? What's the theme of these gatherings?
It was unofficial, but we shared during through these forums of the
Mhm.
expats and English speaking. So we say, okay, this evening we're gathering for a meetup for discussing, I don't know, whatever is interesting at happening at this time of, and people would show up and we would have either a drink or a snack together somewhere, whether in Geneva, Nyon, or Lausanne, and get together, really.
Yeah,
You
yeah, yeah,
And this is how I was meeting people. There was also there's a lot of events happening. It's just putting yourself out there
yeah.
when you arrive in a new place, and just really be active if you want to meet people. And it's best to meet in person although of course the first maybe communication
Yeah.
happens throughout online platform, whatever you join in, and this is how you start talking and you join in the event, or you can organize your own. um, but then you continue you know, you have to be consistent and persistent.
Yes. Yes.
So
Absolutely. So
mm.
tell me more about your profession. So you got this certification or diploma in London, and then what happened?
So I got qualifications in London. I studied at the university, the business studies, and I had my experience in London. So in London, I lived for almost 10 years also. I was running the spas there. I got a lot of, done tons of training. And when I moved here, I wanted to do exactly the same thing.
Okay. So how
And
did you
then,
go about it?
so what I did about it is I did not look to be employed
Mm-hmm.
because I guess my language skills were not great, but I don't think there would be, if I was looking in some hotel spas, luxury hotel spas, it would be a possibility, because this is what happens, right? When you're in a management position, you don't really need to, it's good to know, but you learn while you go, pretty much. And but for me, it was more interesting to have my own business. So
Yes.
I started looking. I was starting joining the women entrepreneurs clubs, talking in the forums with them online. And this is how I met my business partner online. It was, and then we went on a date in Lausanne, you know, and we had the tea, and then we connected. We met the second time, we met the third time, and then we thought, okay, let's do something together, because our values and interests met. And this is how we started a business here. And that's the history. Yeah.
So what did you create it together? What did you create together? What's your
So we, we nearly bought, it was a very interesting story. We nearly bought a spa in Geneva,
mm-hmm.
and we shook hands. It was like, okay, sold, it's ours now. And we did the whole deal and everything. And then the last minute, and I just had my first child, my daughter. And while I was still in a hospital, the owner of the spa called and said, sorry, but I actually sold it to my friend.
Wow. Okay.
And I was so sad and I was so upset,
Mm-hmm. Wow.
you know, and I was like, how can this be? You know, we really agreed on this. We wanted to do this together, and da, da, da. And that was with my friend that I met. And that didn't work out. And then I thought, okay, so what do I do now? You
Yes.
know? And but I think, you know, it's really, everything happens for a good reason.
For a reason, yes.
Really, you
So,
know.
so what? So what did you discover? What did you see later? What's your
So
explanation today that it was the best that could happen at that time?
so today, you know, after this, because I wanted to have a certain brands that I wanted to use in the spa,
Yeah.
and they were not available in Switzerland.
Okay.
Because, okay, even though Switzerland is super advanced in the technology and what's happening here and so on, the certain trends come much later. I don't know why, but
Okay.
it just happens.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot of opportunity here in Switzerland for especially for the expats, you know, to create. And so I wanted to bring in some brands that were extremely popular in London, in UK,
Okay.
and very well known internationally also,
Okay.
but not available in Switzerland. And
Mm.
I was like, okay, well, but I need this. I need this wax. I need this cream. I need this. I need that. You know, where do I find a distributor here in Switzerland who can supply me all of these things that I need? And there was none.
Mm-hmm.
And then, with all of this, we were in touch with the manufacturers, with the makers of these brands. And the one was the Lycon Cosmetics from Australia,
Mm-hmm.
uh, that manufacture the best hair removal wax in the world.
Okay.
And that I used to work in London and I was trained in London. And they said, well, there's no one here. You can't, you need to order from either UK,
Yeah.
mostly. And I thought, oh my God, with all this shipping cost and it's
Absolutely.
not really possible.
Mm.
And then once that didn't work out, the spa business, I somehow we had this idea. I was like, okay, well, how about we do this? We just train and supply the professional beauty products that are not here in Switzerland, and we just do
Wow.
this, you know. And luckily for Lycon Cosmetics in Australia, they said, okay, we don't have an agent, a distributor here in Switzerland, so why don't we work together then? And this is how it all started. So, if you don't ask, you don't get. So that was my. So we started communicating, and then they said, okay, you don't need to have a salon, a spa to do this. And we were super happy to work with them because I already knew the product that I worked with for
Yeah.
several years.
Yeah.
They knew the quality and how amazing it is. And it's a professional product for the salons and spas. And this is how it all kind of got together and started that
So,
instead.
are you like an exclusive agent of this
Yes,
mark, Australian mark in Switzerland? Is it?
that's right. Yeah.
Wow. So,
Yeah.
what's your job now? Like training other people? What do you do exactly?
Yes, so we train other salons, beauticians, because there's a special method and a
Mm-hmm.
technique for the way the Lycon works, the product. So just educating and giving or passing on the skill to other estheticians and beauty therapists on
Mm-hmm.
how to provide the best service to the client with the product that is just incredible and it's easy to work with. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, what's amazing and that I love, I also notice with the expat women, when there is something that doesn't work, you just are open and flexible. If the spa didn't work, then there is something else, and when the opportunity opens up, you just need to take this leap of faith and courage. Let us do it. I don't know how it will go, but let us try and see what happens. And this is
Yes.
this is what I see with you. Tell us 2 or 3 words about these products because you believe they are so incredible and amazing, and I don't know them. So tell me what's your experience? Why do you like it so much?
Okay, so I found a couple of differences, because in yes, it's not new now in Switzerland because we've been going for 10 years, right?
Okay.
But in UK, I felt people were so knowledgeable about what they're putting on the skin, what they're using, what the salons. It was all following the trend and what is the best out there. You call the salon and you're like, I need waxing. Do you use Lycon? And they say no. Okay, then I don't go. But if they say yes, they are sure that they will receive some sort of standard of service and they will get a really good treatment. So whereas here in Switzerland, it's still it's a little bit hard to put this on because it's a little bit more expensive than your cheap wax, whatever.
Yeah.
But the product really, it's once you have your when you once you go and have your treatment done with for example, with the Lycon wax, it's a lot less painful. It removes all the hair, the hairs that is even 1 millimeter long. It leaves the skin smooth for much longer, so you don't need to do it as often.
Mm-hmm.
And it has a big range of also the home care products that you can use. You can use the scrubs to exfoliation, and it's a sugar scrub. So Lycon doesn't use any plastic microbeads. It's
Mm-hmm.
completely like sugar, you know. It's also, we also look at the environmental issues in the world. So we try to really accommodate that issue, and it's really high quality products that the Lydia Jordan, who is the creator of this, she started 42 years in 1978, so
Wow.
42 years ago, and she is, you know, around 75 countries, and it's so known around the world. So it's really high quality. That the products that I used are really amazing, and amazing for your skin, and yeah, uh, for the home use, for the, but especially for professional use, for the salons and spas is something just really, it's a must have.
So if there is any salon or spa watching our interview, where then how they can get in touch with you? How can they maybe test the products or see what it is exactly?
Absolutely, we do regular trainings.
Mm-hmm.
We do demonstrations. We go to their salons to show, if it's a bigger team, especially. You can find us at the exhibitions now that they're restarting this year again. We will be in Bern at the end of May, and then in Lausanne in September. But otherwise, they can get in touch through our website, is teaserboutique.ch,
Okay.
or through our social media, it's usually Teaser Boutique. And call us. We have, it's three of us, so I'm usually English speaking, and Antigone is French speaking, and Zainab is German speaking. So anyone you call, we will
Amazing.
direct to the right person, you know?
That's wonderful. So you can really go around the Switzerland everywhere. I mean, German speaking part, French
Yes.
speaking part.
Yeah, that's the whole idea, because
Yeah,
otherwise it's very difficult, isn't it? If you,
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And this is where you say, you know, to have a creativity, how do you get out of that box? Because I don't speak the language, either Italian or German or French.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you find your way around it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And maybe finding the partners or corporations, it's the way.
Recently, I read you don't need to work hard all the time. Outsource your weaknesses. If you don't speak this language, take someone else who completes your team, and everything's fine. You don't need to carry everything. You don't need to do everything. You just do what you are good at, and then outsource. So you don't speak you don't speak French. Okay, French speaking partner. You don't speak German. German speaking partner, and that's it. That's done. Tell me, is there any opportunity for just particular persons to try the products, or to is there any do you distribute also to like private people?
Yes, to our private people, we they can order products online.
Okay.
Uh,
Is there a website
but I
also?
wouldn't recommend to do waxing on yourself if you
No.
never done it before. Yes, no. So yeah, so it's only through our website and through social media, and we will have, because this year it's a 10-year anniversary,
Hmm.
so we will have a lot of giveaways happening through our social media, and especially possibly Instagram, because this is where we find our new clients.
Okay.
I would say it's the most effective platform.
Hmm. When will it
Um,
be? When will it start?
it will start happening now in May, because it
Okay.
all happened in May. Yes, it's a
Okay.
springtime, you know, the growth period.
So that's an opportunity. That's an
Yeah,
opportunity to discover something new and amazing.
something new. Yeah, we always do giveaways around this time anyway, but now throughout this year, because it's quite a special year, and after 2 years of being in a lockdowns, it's been very difficult for our clients,
Of
as
course.
you probably can imagine, right? The
Yes.
shops closing down, and some were completely closing down, but then some new started, and yeah, but it's not been easy
Yes.
for all of
Well,
us.
now everything will start to bloom, you know. It's like a new opening, new start. So everything needs to be ready just to create and to meet and to allow others to discover what
That's
you do.
right.
Okay, my last question. What would you recommend to expat women who face obstacles, difficulties when settling down in Switzerland, looking for a job, facing rejections, setbacks, and so on? What would you recommend them?
Well, yeah, I understand it can be difficult. It's always difficult moving to a new country,
Yeah.
and I think we all, and people, even though saying, just go out there, expose yourself, just do this, do that. Sometimes you really have uh, low energy because of if you send out all these CVs to applying for the jobs and nothing comes back right, you really feel down. But in the end, I think exposing yourself to as many women out there or men also, just be social and get to know people, get to know your neighbors, go to the events, to the local events even,
Mm.
and really don't get your hopes down, because apply for the jobs that you think, okay, it's out of my reach, I will never get this position, it's never going to happen to me. Just do it. Just send really to the ones that you think, oh my god, this is really not for me, but this is your dream, but just dream it, really dream it, because it does happen. And I've seen stories like this too, that you think, oh my god, I'm in such a terrible position, I never thought this is going to happen to me, but just be out there, yeah, visualizing and sending out to the things that you we thought, okay, it's not for me, but it's my dream, I will just do it anyway. uh,
Yes, I love it.
and the
Yes.
things will come, yeah.
Yeah. Even though I think it's impossible for me, but this is actually what I do want. Just
Yeah,
try it, go after it, and get out, socialize, meet people, get to know your neighbors, um, go to clubs, do what you love, and then see what happens when you're open, even though it's a bit difficult. Like another expat woman said, well, I had to push myself. Yeah, maybe at the beginning you need to push yourself out of your comfort zone, like going, just do it. Do it and see. Because when you are at home, like, oh, I don't know what to do, and so on, yeah, your energy is low. But if you push yourself, then you overcome this resistance. And the moment you meet new people and you create connections, it's so rewarding. It's so rewarding, and you see there are so many opportunities hidden behind all these connections and all these meetings. So it's definitely worthy of it. It's definitely worth.
yes, it's communication, absolutely. And also if needed, I also find that taking some sort of educational courses, some classes, some trainings. And definitely the one thing I probably would have done differently from while moving here was continue like intensive course with my French.
Hmm.
And I didn't. I done my month and I thought, oh, okay, now it's too much going on. And I stopped. And I should have done that,
Yes.
because the learning the language is really a skill that it would be, for me at least. And now it's getting more difficult with the age, of course. But
Well, that's the invitation to maybe open your social circle more to French
exactly.
speaking people.
I do, but they all speak English. So the people lose patience with you once you speak your franglais. And then also like having a business coach or some sort of mentor,
Yeah,
it's really good idea to ask for help, because if you don't
absolutely.
ask, you don't get.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
Definitely.
asking, like, if you're really stuck on a particular subject or something, just find help, find someone who has already achieved it and it can help you out. We
Absolutely.
had beauticians who arrived from different countries and they asked us for help because they knew the product, they knew Lycon, and they say, I can't find the job, I don't know the language, can I work with you? So we hired them in our exhibitions because we needed experienced professionals.
Yes.
And then because we already had this network of the clients that we worked closely with, we said, okay, we have this really experienced beautician, esthetician who, is looking for the job. Okay, the language is not so great, but she can learn. It's not a problem.
Absolutely.
And this is how they get the jobs, and this is how they eventually start their businesses. So we really, I can understand, and it's just being open and reach out and ask for help. This is really, really, really important.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Ilona, for sharing your professional path, your experience, your wisdom, your tips and tools. I'm really grateful you accepted this invitation to this interview. And this is exactly this. My name is Eva Saunders, and I'm an empowerment coach for expat women. Please reach for help if you feel like you cannot do it on your own. This is my expertise. We will see what you are born for, what really makes you feel happy. Sometimes we need to do some adjustment, and then we will create a plan for you so you can thrive professionally in Switzerland. And today I have this great offer for you. Reach to me today, send me a private message, and you will get 45 minutes clarity session for free. So we see where you are today and what concrete steps you can undertake in order to create thriving professional life in Switzerland. Remember, you were born to thrive. Thank you, Ilona. See you soon. Bye bye.
Thank you, Eva.